to another episode of the Butterfly Effect. My name is Della.
I'm Felicia.
And I'm Colleen.
And together we are the Butterfly Effect Angels. We call ourselves the Butterfly Girls, the Butterfly Ladies, the Butterfly Angels. Angels, we like angels.
No, so I like that.
I like that too.
Here in the comments any ideas you may have.
We didn't dub ourselves. Actually someone did. So Amateur Duran I calls us the Angels. So there you go. There you go. Girls, how are you?
Amazing.
Very good.
Nice to see you. You look wonderful, both of you.
I miss you ladies. I can't wait to see you in person.
Me too.
Soon.
Yeah. It's happening.
So we're going to meditate on that.
Yes.
So we are talking tonight on why meditate and a whole bunch of other stuff all about meditation. So if you're new to this, if you've never meditated, and if you're looking at meditation and going, that's just a bunch of, watch and listen, because you might just surprise yourself. We want to thank everybody who's joined us already on this live, and we are looking forward to hearing from you. We always look for your comments, your questions, your experience, because you just make this so much better. What do you say, girls?
Yes, I'm so excited. I can't wait to hear from people who have questions, who have tried meditation, who have never tried meditation, as well as people that have loads of experience and maybe have some stories or insights into it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'm hoping there are people out there who shrink at the word of meditation, saying that, it's a waste of time. What the heck are you doing? So, because that's incredible. I've actually experienced that this past week, and I'll get into it later.
Oh.
Well, it wasn't too long ago for me that I kind of wrinkled my nose at the idea of meditation, because to be honest with you, I didn't know anything about meditation, and I didn't know all the benefits of meditation. So when I was introduced to it, I found it really, really hard, and thought, this would never work for me. Oh, maybe that's for you, but it will never work for me. And honestly, and tonight I will talk about my experience and how I started to meditate and how it has literally changed my life. Colleen, did you meditate? Have you been meditating for a long time?
Yes. When I started my journey, I went to a retreat, and I learned how to do some meditation. And when I came back, I actually joined a couple of groups, and I used to go twice a week religiously to group meditations. I love the energy of being in a room full of people doing a meditation. And then, of course, when COVID happened, then you have to do it on your own. But I really love doing group meditations, and they're usually a guided meditation. How about you, Felicia? Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, do you remember when we first trying to start this show, and we didn't have a name for our shows? I remember the exact day, actually. I was at my mom's, and we were on a group messenger call, and we were trying to come up with a name, and Felicia said, let's meditate on this. And we, all three of us, sat, and Felicia guided us through a meditation, and at the end of the meditation, we had the name of our show. And it was such a great experience for me, because that truly, truly proved how, when we get in tuned and we go inward, how we can find the answers, but also get connected with other people and just on a different level. So that was a beautiful experience for me.
I had forgotten about that. Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah, that's amazing. I remember too, and I got goosebumps just as you were talking about it. That's so true.
So go ahead.
I started 25 years ago when I came to Canada the first time. I took this course in Toronto that was called rebirthing meditation. It was an incredible experience. And on and off since, I've been meditating, and I will myself, if time permits, will share my story a little bit of what are some of the benefits that I've noticed in myself with my experience. Because it's easier to talk of what you know.
Yeah.
So
I think that I am too. I think that's a great idea. I don't know if you guys remember the very first time you ever meditated or tried to meditate. You do. So I would love to hear that story. And you know, if our viewers have their experiences that they want to share, maybe, you know, when was the first time you meditated, or, you know, tried to meditate? What was your experience? Drop that in the comment for us. And even if you were watching this after the fact, that, you know, just remember to comment with the hashtag replay and share your experience with us. Okay, well, you know what? As usual, we want to start with the definition as given in the dictionary of what meditation means, or what to meditate means. Colleen?
Sure, thank you. Okay, so meditation is a practice where an individual uses a technique such as mindfulness or focusing the mind on a particular object, thought, or activity to train attention and awareness and achieve a mentally clear and emotionally calm and stable state. That was a really long one. Would you like me to read that one over again?
Well, read it again, and then maybe just give us the gist of what you think that means.
Okay. So meditation is a practice where an individual uses a technique such as mindfulness or focusing the mind on a particular object, thought, or activity to train attention and awareness and achieve a mentally clear and emotionally calm and stable state. So what I get from that is basically, we all have our own ways because there's different types of meditation, but ultimately it's quieting the mind, whichever way works for you, and bringing yourself to a calm, clear state. Does that clarify it a little bit?
Yeah. And what did you get from that, Felicia? Maybe you have a different.
Well, I actually, not that I usually do this, but for some reason I was curious to see what others say that meditation is, because though I've taken meditation courses throughout these past 25 years, I don't remember any of the teachers saying this is what meditation is. So they teach their program, but I don't, right? So I searched. So what I got is that some archaeologists date meditation back to as early as 5000 BCE.
Wow.
And I found that on Psychology Today. And they also claim that it has religious ties in ancient Egypt and in China, as well as Judaism, Hinduism, Jainism, Sikhism, and of course, Buddhism. But believe it or not, even Christianity, in the Bible, it's mentioned 23 times, which is like, you know, it's mentioned. Maybe a different aspects of. So I can say that anything we do in life, it can be said to have some connotation noted above, right? Like the way I said it earlier, like has to do with maybe some kind of a religious tie. However, anything that we know, it's rooted in something that others have said to us. Yet it's left at the level of our own interpretation, right? Our own thought or belief system. What we have learned from others, but also through our own experiences, which in reality, it's only a small part of what the real truth is. So let's not ask what the truth is, okay? Let's leave that for another topic. So I can only say, like, for me, meditation has been a way to optimize my life by helping me learn how to stop the suffering caused by the inside turmoil that has been caused by different things that happened in my life, be that the experiences I've had or traumas I went through. We all experience trauma of all kinds of different, different levels, of course, or simply by what life has thrown at me, the choices I made. But the choices I've made from my own reactivity rather than contentment with what is, being in that present moment. So I've realized that each time I meditate on a regular basis for extended period of time, I make better choices. I am more patient with myself, with others. I embrace and accept my life just as it is. And I'm more understanding. I'm filled with gratitude and love, and not to mention the ability to really enjoy the present moment while working on my goals, for example, right? And without judgment, without control, without complaint, And yeah, that's what meditation is for me.
That all sounds awesome. Okay.
Della, I want to hear what it is to you too.
So that's funny, because I used to think that mindfulness and meditation were one and the same. And later I found out that no, mindfulness is just another way to meditate, I guess, to get you to that state. And so for a long time, I was really challenged by the meaning of what meditation meant. And really, I have lately realized that meditation is the act of meditating and focusing on something in particular, where it be nothing or where it be anything. And whatever you meditate on, you amplify. So if you learn to meditate on a state of calm and the relaxation, you stay there. And so that kind of deepened my understanding of meditation. But it's funny because a lot of people shy away from meditation, because if you say that to anyone who's never meditated, the idea that comes to their head is the monks sitting in a very uncomfortable position and sitting like that for a long time without talking. And so for a lot of us, that is so outside our comfort zone. So I guess our conversation tonight is all about the fact that how we can make meditation easily a part of our lifestyle, whatever that may be. And the only way we can achieve that, we can stick to it, is if we know how it's going to better our lives and it's going to help us live better lives. So that is the purpose of tonight's show. And so what do you say? We go ahead and share our experiences?
Sure.
Okay. So Colleen, what would you like to talk about?
So I have some list of stuff, obviously, me, I'm the list lady, but but for me personally, I found that meditation helped me feel myself again. Do you know what I mean? Like, and it was funny, in my reading in preparation for this, there was a good point in an article about how, when we were kids, we used to get bored. We used to have moments where you had nothing to do. You would just sit and daydream. You know what I mean? You had quiet moments. And these days, with all the technology at our fingertips and everything that's happening, everything is constantly moving. So meditation is that time to just be in the present moment. And like there's all these different kinds of meditation, and you can visualize, you could do all these different things, but you're taking a quiet moment and you're allowing your body to be in a restful state. You know what I mean? And I think I remember hearing something, and maybe you guys can remember the actual the thing, but like 20 minutes of meditation is equivalent to 4 hours of sleep, something to that effect.
I don't know that. I've never heard that before.
Yeah,
but I believe it.
Yeah. So because
actually, I believe anything you say.
So, well, I did hear that somewhere. I'm not sure where, but it's, for me, it's very much, it's so very calming. And so like, and it does, like, some of the proven effects of meditation are lower blood pressure, reduced anxiety, improvement from a depression. Like there's a whole list of things that come from just slowing down, being in the moment, and breathing. Because meditation, regardless of the type of meditation it is, there is a big focus on being aware of your breath, taking deep cleansing breaths, and it just calms you. It's beautiful. Felicia, how about you?
Well, you've mentioned a couple of the benefits, and interesting enough, even Mayo Clinic, believe it or not, has done studies on meditation. We don't have extensive studies and scientific proofs, but in the little time that they have done some studies, they say that meditation actually addresses stress, whether positive or negative, reduces anxiety, as you said, and chronic pain, even depression, heart disease, high blood pressure. I've read an article in the Insider not long ago stating that there are so many mental health benefits because it helps with the focusing and concentration, improves self-awareness and self-esteem. And as mentioned with the Mayo Clinic, it does help with anxiety and stress, but it even helps physically because it could help increase our tolerance to pain, which means less need for medication and, of course, no side effects. And the one that I thought was very important, and I want to mention it here, is the fact that it helps, believe it or not, with fighting substance abuse. So those are facts. Those are not just, me saying that. Those are just things that have been documented. By medical doctors, by people with in a study group, right? So for me, why meditate? As I said, I've mentioned some of my benefits earlier, but funny enough that we came up with this topic today because about 5 days ago, I just signed up for a course for Vipassana meditation. And we will talk about different types of meditation. You, Colleen, already mentioned, and I think Della, you too mentioned mindfulness. That's one type of meditation. And there are about 9, 10, or maybe even more than that. But Vipassana, it's a type of meditation that it's all about self-transformation to self-observation. So it's that deep, deep interconnection between mind and body. Understanding yourself by observing your feelings, your emotions, your sensations, just as they happen, but without allowing it to dictate what you are going to do. Rather observe it, tell yourself what you want to do instead of autopiloting thinking, doing and feeling and reacting on autopilot without even being aware why you do that. And amazing for those who have experienced trauma also, it's very beneficial. And honestly, we all experience trauma. We think that trauma is only for someone that's been abused or hit by the car. But it could simply be a dog barking at you. That could be a reaction that could be traumatic for a young child or even an adult, So learning this it's incredible because these past 5 days, I've had such comments from coworkers and friends even, because what I decided to do is limit my going to a silence, eating different types of foods, like very, very little food compared to what I usually eat, and vegetarian, of course. And more than anything, I've meditated up to 9 hours a day, which I've never done my entire 25 years of practicing meditation. And I never thought that I'll be able to, because like you said earlier, Colleen, sitting in that one position, I thought I have to sit there in that one position, and how am I going to manage that pain?
I said that.
Oh, you said that. Okay, so I'm sorry, Bella. You said
Just a little technicality.
In my case, I thought I have a broken knee. How am I going to bend that knee and sit like that? What if it locks? What if it's... So I've realized these past 5 days that that's all lies that we play on autopilot in our head. Because I sat there for 2.5 hours at the time without having to move. But what I've also learned through this Vipassana is that there are different positions in which you can transfer yourself. But the whole emphasis is on the fact that don't give in to that pain. Focus on your breath and don't allow that pain, that thought, that sensation, that emotion to dictate what you're going to do next, and or when you're going to stop, or when you're going to do something else. And it's just incredible. It feels so amazing. I was asked, like, you wasting so much time sitting and doing nothing? That's basically what I was faced with. And I was so, like, because I'm in such a state, like, relaxed, and I'm like, yeah. I just, it feels good. And they look at me and it feels good, and you don't work, like, because I've limited my talking, my connection, I went to see patients, of course, but in between, if I had any time at all, what I did is just sat there in my crystal, in my lotus position, and literally meditate. And they will knock in the door and say, "Are you okay? You wasting time again?"
It's interesting that you talk about staying still for a period of time. One of the types of meditation is actually a movement.
Yeah. There are
So, and an example of a movement type meditation would be something like yoga, because that is in a meditative state, you're moving, and it's one of the great ones for children, because they can't necessarily stay still for a period of time. Mm-hmm. So, and I guess this is the first time I'm actually mentioning the children, but that's one of the things that I found in my research was about the children are doing meditative practices. And there's all kinds of tips and information about that as well.
I love that idea of teaching meditation to children, because imagine, seriously, ladies, like, imagine if we were taught as kids
mm-hmm.
How to meditate. And I mean, I wasn't, but I know someone who has learned how to meditate. Like, when he was a kid, he started going to a martial arts school, and they taught him how to meditate there. And this helped him so much as he was going through his teenage years, having to deal with all the hormonal changes and, teenagers, right? So he said that truly helped him stay grounded, because he had that tool in his toolbox. So teaching meditation to children, what a great idea. So, okay, so what were you going to say about that?
I wanted to share a little bit more about the meditation with children. I know that teachers are using yoga and meditation in schools now, and that's becoming a normal practice in a lot of school boards. But one of the most important thing, or the most surprising thing that I found, was that kids with autism are being taught how to use meditation, and so that they can focus, and that they, there's just so many benefits to it. And there's we were talking about benefits of things, and I just wanted the benefits. They found that meditation for children has improved their self-esteem, given them that confidence, that given them the ability to focus, and it provides them with that downtime, right? Like kids, like I said, when we were kids, you had moments where you would be bored, or you would, you know what I mean? You would have downtime. And our kids just don't experience that, because there's always, a TV, a tablet, something going. And meditation gives them that looking inward moment. And it's super helpful for them. And 1 out of 4 kids, or 1 out of 5 kids now has anxiety. That's why they're introducing meditation and breathing, just simple breathing exercises into schools. So.
Just a side note, I just had an aha moment. Kids got grounded.
Yes.
Right, and they were being sent to a corner. So I wonder if the purpose behind that, when the first time someone came up with that idea, was to get that kid into a quiet space.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just saying, grounded. So we are constantly looking to get grounded.
Yeah. And it put a very negative
it did
connotation to it, right? Where by teaching meditation with children, is you're putting that positive and that self of control. And I think that's why it helps with their self-esteem, because it gives them the ability to own what they're feeling in that moment.
Oh, good idea. Yeah.
Or quiet, like you said, grounding, Bella. I think it's, to me, I used to call it timeout. And for the purpose of doing that with my girls was to just simply have them quiet their mind and think about what they've done and how can they do that better next time. Like, it's because, talk about putting them on a corner. I remember I used to have a chair. I used to have a chair, a little chair in the corner. I say, you stay there right now and think about what just happened. And then,
see,
like that time was valuable because it took them away from the busyness of what, and reacting or doing things without thinking. So that's why, in the simplest way, meditation is all about training the mind to listen to you rather than you listening to your mind. It's about exercising your mind to focus on what you want in order to find liberation from your own pain, your own emotions, your own sensations, or your own conditioning, which is nothing but belief systems and perceptions and about things in life that are coming maybe from others, from the society, from the TV, from the Google doctor and know it all, And I don't know who said it, but there is a little say. It says, we are masters of ourselves and slaves of our conditioning. I think Buddha said that. I'm not sure. And I've heard it long ago, and it's playing back in my mind because it's so true. We are
say that again. We are masters of?
We are masters of ourselves and slaves to our conditioning, to our belief system.
It's true. So true. Yeah, so true. So part of going into meditation allows you to get over those past conditioning. That's what you're saying.
It's a way,
correct.
Not necessarily get over, but understanding that there is a reason why we think and we react and we do things the way we do, and have our mind directing our life, our thoughts, our emotions, our sensations, our feelings. It's what directs what we do, rather than becoming consciously aware of your mind, focusing and deciding without having to decide based on that emotion. That emotions, as we know, don't come and go. They change all the time. So imagine if you make a major life drastic decision in the midst of your upheaval of emotions. Like somebody also said, I think it's an old say, where you don't make decisions when you are upset, when you are mad, or when you are ecstatic. Either way, whatever extreme. So that's why meditation is, again, it's about training your mind to listen, to just become aware.
Such a good point. Such a good point. Whenever we're faced with making a major decision in life, the worst place you can make that decision from is in a panic mode or in a stress mode. So I can see how, really learning to meditate and calming yourself down can help make the best decision possible. And actually, I had an experience with that too recently. Colleen, sorry, I cut you off.
Well, I was curious. I wanted to hear, because I know that you said that initially you were hesitant to meditate. And I'm curious, what was it that what prevented you from jumping into meditation? Was there something about meditation that you thought was like a whole bunch of hooey, or?
I think a little bit of everything. I had a really good friend who introduced me to the idea of meditation. My mom has been meditating for a very long time, actually. So I knew a few people. I shouldn't say a lot. A few people in my family and friends who also meditated. I think I always looked at it as something really hard to do. Because I always thought, I have to like shut down my thoughts. Like I have to quiet down. How do you do that? Like, I think that most people say that. How do you not think? This is, because people think, you need to shut off your brain if you want to go into meditation. And I think in a way too, what we don't know, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I didn't know, and you're usually hesitant and defensive in trying new things if you don't know and you don't believe in the power, I guess. And so I think it came down to a time of my life when I really grasped anything that I could get my hands on if it was going to help me. I got to that despair, like extreme despair and hopelessness, where, just show me what to do. This is what I said: show me what to do and I'll do it. And when I hired a coach all those years ago, she asked me one day, she said, Adele, do you meditate? I'm like, no. She's like, and right now I'm thinking about it, and I'm laughing because to me this is like a part of life now. But back then I was like, no, and I'm not about to start. And then she told me like all the benefits, and she didn't say do it. She just said, this is how it has worked for me, and these are all the benefits that it has done for me, and this is here's a person who can talk all about meditation, and here's a link to her YouTube, and go ahead and watch her. And so I did, and I think the way she explained it to me made sense, and I was like, well, I got nothing to lose. And so I started, and I used an app called Headspace. And this is no way in advertising for Headspace. I'm just saying, I mean, you can use the free version if you want, but you start by 2 minutes. Honestly, that's all I did was 2 minutes, and I liked it. And so I know, and slowly it just became more and more and more, and so that's how I started.
I knew that Headspace would come into the conversation at some point, because I think that they're the ones that brought meditation to the masses, right? Like, because it was something that was scary for some people. And it's funny because when I was looking at the different types of meditation, one of them, and it's the spiritual meditation, is, when people say, oh, I'm going to go pray on it, right? The spiritual meditation is connecting with, in pure spiritual intelligence, we call it source love, right? So it, something greater than ourselves. So whatever that is for you, that's a form of meditation. When you do that, that's a form of meditation. And people don't put those two things together. They think they're completely different, but it's a similar thing. It's the same thing. And then there's one kind I wanted to share with you before we move on. There was one kind that I thought, oh, that's the best kind of meditation. It's called loving kindness meditation. And I love that you, Felicia, is nodding up and down. So it's basically a meditation that focuses on giving and receiving love. So you get into that meditative state and you just emanate love and receive love. And I'd never heard of that before. And I loved it.
Somehow I feel like I've heard of this through some program from Joe Dispenza, Dr. Joe Dispenza. Maybe not. I'm not sure, but I think
healing is another one, by the way.
Wow. So, I mean, the benefits are just countless.
Yes.
Countless, right? Countless. And so, if you were to say to someone, Felicia, let's say someone's watching this and they're like, it's not for me. What would you say? How would you compel that person?
I'll probably start with questions. I will say, do you agree that though you are an intelligent human being and you are educated and you have learned a lot in your life, there are so many things about and in life that you don't know about yet? Would you agree with that?
I would say yes.
Okay. Do you also agree that if we start anything from a place of humility, you can actually learn something new every day, even from those whom you believe have nothing to teach you. Has that ever happened to you?
That's a good philosophy. Yes, all the time.
It's happened to me as being a mother of 3 beautiful girls. I'm blessed with that. So thank you. You know, I've learned so much from my girls again and again and again. And I used to call them little humans teaching mom. And I've learned persistence. I've learned determination. I've learned what happens when you practice something again and again. So let's, for example, take the baby as an example. When the baby starts walking, and you both are mothers, so you've seen that. But even those that are not parents have seen that. When you see the baby for the first time standing up, wanting to walk, what happens? They wobble and they fall. But do they stay, you think? Do they start thinking about, oh my gosh, this is so hard. I'm going to just stop.
I suck at this.
Exactly.
I'm not doing it anymore.
I'm just going to lay down here in my playpen or my bed or whatever I'm in here and do nothing else because it's easier to just
Walking is not for me.
What's the point, right? They don't. What do? They stand up again and again. And what happens? They fall again and again. And they even get hurt and they don't stop. They keep on going. They become the masters of standing and walking and running and destroying our homes soon enough. Right? So that's what brings me, that's what I would say to someone that says, oh, meditation is not for me. Meditation is waste of time. Meditation is sitting in one position and doing nothing but wasting, or how can you possibly stop your mind with one thought? Well, when you learn how to walk, or when you learn how to read, or when you learn a new language, if you ever learn a new language or a new something, anything, when you learn how to bike, how to swim, did you know it? Did you feel comfortable? Did you think that this is amazing? Or you feel, oh my gosh, I'm never going to learn this. I remember when I came to Canada, I didn't speak a word of English. The only word I knew is hello. And trying to learn the first couple of months was like, I'll never learn this damn language, because every time I will learn a word, that word will mean something else in a different environment, in a different sentence, in a different... I'm like, how am I going to learn? There is no grammar, there is no structure, there is no... That's how I felt. Because my native language it's a Latin base, so we have different, very, very strict grammar that you follow. And once you learn that, you know the language. So it's the same with meditation. And let's remember that there are so many types, like the way Colleen said. One is mindfulness. And I think the most common that people are aware or familiarized with, because of what's happened now with these new apps, is that guided meditation. And it's a start, but I will say this, like, if you start guided meditation and you think it's amazing, don't stop there, because there is so much more to meditation than just being guided. Guided, it's a way of starting. It's like the baby when, you have the walker and he walks with the walker, right? And eventually he's on his own and he needs to learn how to take those steps on his own. It's the same thing with learning how to quiet your mind on your own way. However, it's important to know where you start. How do you start? And perhaps even understanding which one is what and what kind of meditation gives me what, to decide from your own goodness in your own heart what resonates with you, what's right for you. So we can delve now into talking about what types are out there, or if you guys have anything else to say, but that's what I will do. What do you guys think?
Yeah,
I think that's good. Yeah, go ahead, Colleen.
If someone came to me and they said, oh, meditation's not for me, and I'd ask them, first of all, so, what's your experience been with meditation? And if they tell me that they haven't tried it because it's, it's silly, I'd say, then how do you know? There's so many things that we have in the past made decisions about without actually trying it. It's like when those toddlers are saying, you put a piece of broccoli in front of them and they say, I don't like it. And you know what I mean? And I'm not doing it. And then they taste it and it becomes their favorite vegetable. How do you know?
I love how you did that, Colleen. Do that again.
But how do you know unless you tried it, right? So I would encourage them to try it just once. And I did a 10-minute guided meditation that I posted on my Facebook group. That is a great way to introduce yourself to a guided meditation. And I know Felicia, you mentioned that, it's not the only thing. One of the things I love about the guided meditations that I've been a part of is that of the 9 types of meditations that I learned about in the article from healthline.com, my guided meditations, the ones I've participated in, have like 7 of those things incorporated into the one guided meditation. And that's one of the reasons why I loved it, because it touches on all those different things. It touches on the mindfulness, the spiritual side of it, the progressive relaxation, the visualization, the focused, there's every single one of the things that almost every one of those, the list of 9 that were in that article have been part of my guided meditations. And that's why I like it so much, because there's a little bit there for everybody. So, but anyway, yeah, I'd ask, how do you know? How do you know until you try? So just give it a try. And it doesn't, like you said, the Headspace app starts with 3 minutes. And when the article I was reading about the children's meditation, obviously a toddler can't, even for 3 minutes, that would be near impossible. It's 30 seconds, or get them to take some deep breaths. Like you get them to start, and whether it's a grown adult or a toddler, you get them to start just being aware and in the moment. Mm-hmm. And once you see the benefit of that tiny little effort, then you can introduce and expand on that. Cool. That's where I would start.
Cool. So that just reminded me of something. Last year, I took it upon myself to challenge myself, really, to step out of my comfort zone, and did a 21-day meditation challenge. So every night at 11 p.m. I went live on Facebook and did a 20-minute meditation. And I did the progression relaxation that you mentioned, and deep breathing. And so I remember that time fondly, even though it was really, really outside my comfort zone. I think the benefits I got from it was that I forced myself to meditate for 20 minutes for 21 days, but also people that perhaps, didn't really think about meditation, but that a part of my group of friends and family that just watched for the sake of supporting me, and that perhaps maybe gave them a chance to, at least take a few deep breaths, which was, I think, which is really beneficial.
Yeah.
So I've done my part in sharing.
So I'm curious if you got any feedback from anybody about those 21 days that you were sharing your experience with meditation.
So a lot of people messaged me and they said, "Oh, it's nice to hear your voice before we go to sleep."
Oh. Oh, that's sweet.
That was sweet. So as you were talking about toddlers and the 30-second startup, I think even if you can just sit down, and I think the idea of sitting down for long periods of time is perhaps a little bit scary for a lot of people. But again, if you can break it down into small little bits, and even if it's just saying to yourself, okay, I'm just going to sit here and take 10 deep breaths. I mean, we do that anyways, right? We breathe anyways. But it's like you said, once you start really breathing in and out, you just feel differently. Colleen, we've been doing the quantum breaths, and I mean, what is that, like not even a minute?
Yeah, long? It's 30 seconds, and it's actually a scientific, like there's a physiological body response when you take deep breaths. you trigger your body to release, I call them the happy hormones.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, just taking 3 deep breaths will absolutely get you to a new place in less than 30 seconds. Yeah.
So I think I've told you this story. I might have before. I share with everyone that really deep breathing saved my life. There was a situation where I was in, and I was in a real panic. That was the first time I was ever experiencing that, and I really had trouble breathing. But I didn't know that's what it was. I was in a panic mode. And so I dialed the phone number of a crisis hotline, and the lady on the phone came on. And the very first thing she said after she asked me if I was in any danger, she said, "Do me a favor and take a few deep breaths." And she guided me through those breaths. And I think for about a minute or two, that's all she was doing. She was counting my breaths for me. And after the 2 minutes, it was as if, I know, it was just, it was a miracle. I would never forget that experience. I truly believe that she saved my life that day. But every time I think about deep breathing, I always go back to that because I've experienced that firsthand. Yeah, it's powerful. It's really powerful.
Can I share something that's helpful if you're with somebody who's in one of those panic modes?
Yes, please.
So we as human beings have a tendency to mimic the people around us. So if you're with somebody who don't start. Oh, that's not good.
Really just looking at me. Is she really yawning?
If you're around, I'm so trying. Yeah, I had to suppress it. But if you're around someone who's panicking, right? Who's in that panic mode.
Yes.
If you start, like, in a loud way, just start taking slow, deep breaths where you take, breathe in through your nose for at least 4 seconds, pause for at least 4 seconds, and then breathe out through your mouth for at least 5 seconds. And you just start doing that, the person that you're with will mimic that. And I've experienced that. Now, it doesn't, if they're way off then it may not work, or if there's something else going on. But I have done that and had them calm down just by not, because if I say take deep breaths in that moment, they were not ready to take deep breaths. So I just sat quietly and took my breaths a little bit louder than I normally would. But you don't even have to do that, because we have a tendency to just start mimicking the breathing of the people that are closest to us, physically closest to us.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we have about 2 minutes. No, sorry, 10 minutes. My bad. 10 minutes.
Wow, we haven't talked about much.
Yeah, we've got about 10 minutes. So I want us to leave people with as much as possible. So Felicia, what do you got?
So I'll go into this process, how to start the process, but I want to mention, because of both of your comments, did you actually know that meditation can help greatly with PTSD by reducing the symptoms and even reversing them? Actually, there are studies done on that. And also want to mention that psychologists have even dived into this system, and they use it in some of their practices. And they mentioned that it helps, meditation helps develop various regions of your brain, because our brain develops through neuron connections. And neurons, the information processing cells in your brain, connect to make neural pathways, which are responsible for your thoughts, your emotions, your sensations, feelings, actions. So when you repeatedly do an activity such as meditation, you strengthen the neural connections involved, which develops the associated regions of the brain. Studies show that meditating for about 30 minutes daily increases the gray matter density, and also that's the matter that is in the hippocampus part of the brain, and some parts of the frontal regions of the brain, which aids in learning and memory, and it really helps with retention of facts and and having a more mindful behavior. And that's why it helps with children that have been diagnosed with ADD, or they have attention deficit disorders, or even autism, believe it or not. Yeah, you mentioned, I think it was you, Colleen, that mentioned that. So
autism,
it's amazing, amazing. So now, if there is anyone out there who has never done meditation and it's sort of on the fence of not knowing, as we keep on saying that we throughout our life we keep on learning. So maybe if you hear this word meditation too many times for the next 2-3 months, make a decision to at least try it. That's how that's how I do things. Like if I hear something and I'm not aware of it, and the first time is like, yeah, right, sure. And the second time is like, whoa, that's the second time I'm listening, I'm hearing that. The third time I'm like, I'm getting into it. Like I'm taking the course. It's like, it's my sign. It's my sign. So
yeah, the universe is speaking to me.
It's my I just developed that, I guess, that way of doing things, like, and that's how I end up taking so many courses in so many different aspects of
we were talking about that earlier.
So let's keep something in mind. Let's say with this, has to be a process. So I think the easiest way is to follow some steps. So I'm going to go through a couple of steps, and then if you guys have anything else to add, please by all means do. So I will say this, first and foremost, find a location somewhere you feel most comfortable in your home or in your surroundings, somewhere in your office. It could be even in your office, or car, or anywhere. That don't drive and meditate though. Okay. So make it like your special spot, okay? But I will suggest to consider doing it for at least 21 days on a daily basis, at least, because studies show that in order to learn new things or let go of certain habits, we've got to have to do those certain things repeatedly for a minimum of 21 days. So remember, it's all about practice. And the more you practice, the faster you advance and the easier it becomes, okay? So remember to make it feel comfortable, because if it's welcoming and making you make that little spot comfortable for you, you will want to go there. Will be your let's say Zen corner of the house, So
the first step is to get comfortable.
To find a spot where you can make it comfortably for you. You can sit, you can stand, you can lay down on a yoga mat, you can, whatever position you like. Like there are 5 ones that yogis use, but honestly, as a beginner, find a position that you feel comfortable in. Start with that. Then second, it's about practicing. So practicing something must have some time allocated regularly. So that's why it's very, very important to decide and keep up with that time. Find the time in your schedule that you can possibly put, as Della said, even start with 2 minutes. I would say 5 minutes, because by the time you get into that comfortable spot, and by the time you close your eyes, and by the time you try and say, okay, I'm going to think of peace, or I'm going to think of my breath, it takes you a couple of minutes to even get in that state. So give yourself 5 minutes. Start with 5 minutes. It sounds like it's a lot, but put the timer on while you kind of prep yourself in that position. So that way it doesn't seem like it's, sitting in one position for more than 2 minutes, okay? So that's another thing. So first, find your place that it's most comfortable. Find the position in which you like to sit or stand, or even walking. If you prefer walking, that's fine. And then remember to put allocated time every day at around the same time to do that. So it becomes like a habitual thing you do, like just the way you wake up when you brush your teeth. Some people do that the first thing in the morning. Others do other things, but I'm just giving it as an example. Okay, I'm not going to go there. And third step will be to remember to sit. And before you start anything, set your clear intention and goals. Because otherwise, it will seem as if you're wasting your time. So think about what is the reason I'm doing this? Is it because I want to be able to focus on my breath? Is it because I want to be able to stop my mind from going in thousands of different directions at the same time? Is it because I want to find peace, like these people talk, these people that meditate talk about peace? I want to see what that is. Doesn't matter what your intention is. Just set one intention or have a goal in mind. At the end of these 21 days, I want to something at the end of it. So you decide, okay? But have that goal in mind, or that clear intention.
Can I just cut you off for one moment and say something here? I have a viewer that is watching us from Iran, and she's so cute. Shanaz, hi, if you're still here. She says, in Farsi, she says, I don't understand anything. I just came to say hi and say, wish you the best. Wish you the best. So, hi, Shanaz. Thank you for watching us. Okay, awesome. So was there another step, Felicia?
Yes. Then it's another thing that you must. There are two more steps. Okay, so please remember, you must come with a knowing that meditation, it's simple, yet it is hard. So please be prepared for adversity and ready to fight your own mind and body, because you have learned to think and do things in a certain way for all these years that you've been alive. It's not going to be easy to change the habit of having your mind thinking of so many things at the same time. And the moment you sit in that position and you say, I'm going to put the timer on for 5 minutes or 2 minutes, if you want to start with that, do whatever time works for you. So you for sure will do it for 21 days. Your mind is going to start playing tricks on you. And I have a little exercise at the end to prove that. I will prove that in 2 minutes. And another one is, which is the last one, is the most important one. Be humble and remind yourself you are learning only if you are open to learning. So I personally found that unless I was humble enough and let go of myself, I was not able to learn the teachings. If I think I know enough, I don't need to learn this, this is not something for me, if that's how I started, I will never get to the point of wanting to learn anything. So do you remember the steps, or should I repeat them?
Let's see. Find yourself yeah, go ahead, Colleen.
Go ahead, Colleen.
I'd like to share some because those are great mindset steps. I'd like to share some steps on actually like doing a meditation of some sort. Would that be okay?
That would be okay. We're going to go over time.
Yeah, I know we're running out of, so I'll try to do it quickly. The first step, I agree with you 100%. Like all of those things I agree with 100%. The first step in doing meditation is finding somewhere where you can where it can be quiet. I did a meditation before we started tonight, and it was not quiet in the house, but because I've meditated before, I was able to tune it out. The first rule of meditation is there's no right or wrong way to do it. As long as your intention is to do it, it's right. So there's no judgment. Just take the time and do it. So number one, make yourself comfortable. Number two, start by focusing on your breathing. And breathing in, like I said earlier, you want to do that in through your nose to a count of 4, pause for 4, out through your mouth for a count of 5. So make yourself comfortable and start breathing. That is enough for beginners. Like that is enough to get you started, and just do that for a period of time. Then what you can do is you can incorporate, we talked about the progressive relaxation. So that's that imagining yourself, whether I do a figure 8 light, and I have it raise up, starting at my toes and raising. And as it passes each part of my body, it drains all the tension and it creates a relaxed state in those muscles. And I go right from the toes all the way to the top of my head. So that is the progressive relaxation, imagining that. You can also do, there's the mantra type of, that's where the Om comes into play, but you can have whatever the mantra is for you. You can, if I'm at peace. You could, like, it be one word, one syllable, a sentence, whatever it is. You just repeat it over and over. I am love. I am love. And you just go through it. It's kind of like using the mala. Anyway, but you just, and you set it. And if you need to, you can set a timer, because sometimes people are worried that they're going to fall asleep or that. So set a timer. It's okay. A gentle little reminder to come out of it. It's that easy. You simply have to find a quiet place or a place where you can get comfortable, and you can take deep breaths and just focus inward. And that's all you need. And you can just go anywhere from there. So you have an exercise for us, Felicia?
Yeah, so I thought a small little meditation would be quick, but just to make you go through it, to understand that your mind does play tricks on you when you try to do quiet down. So we can just start. So how about we just close our eyes, sit comfortably, don't cross your legs, maybe, or whichever position you are, actually, standing, sitting, whatever. Close your eyes. And let's just have your mind focus on nothing but your breath. And I will add here that you do not need to breathe in a certain way. Take a deep breath, or breathe, take an inhalation through your nose and exhale through your mouth. None of it. Just think, where is my breath? Where can I feel my breath? Is it the nose? Is it, where do I feel it? Focus on the breath and nothing else. Now, just remember also that your mind is going to come now. And this is the time where it's going to play tricks on you, because it comes with emotions, with feelings, with sensations in the body, tiredness, anything. So become aware of that, which your mind brings to your attention, and just go back slowly to the breath, because the intention was to focus on the breath. Again, if thoughts come to your mind, let them come, acknowledge, and move back to your breath. Focus on nothing but just that breath. And we can just now maybe open slowly. Actually, before we open the eyes, if you haven't yet, maybe rub your hands together. Create a little bit of warmth and friction in between your arms, your hands. And then cover your eyes slightly. And then open slowly. And then voila.
I love that.
Yeah, just the deep breaths get you all calm, doesn't it?
So this is kind of, it's simple as that. And yeah, like, did you guys, like, being here live with you, believe it or not, I had all kinds of thoughts coming. I could not sit there for a couple of breaths, 2-3 breaths, without thinking, oh, come back to the breath, come back to the breath.
I have a trick for that, if you're interested. So one of the guided meditations that I used to go to, she taught us, and it worked for me, so I share it with everyone who asks. So when I'm in a meditative state, if I have those thoughts that keep poking in, like, oh, you know, you have to get add this to the grocery list, or don't forget to clean this, or you know what I mean, you have to do this for work, or if those thoughts pop in my mind, I create a little golden ball in my visualization, and I just pluck them into the golden ball, and I say, I'll come back to you later. And at first I thought that's ridiculous, and then I tried it, and it really helped. It really put my mind at ease to be able to let that thought go, and so that I can quiet my mind better.
Does it have to be golden?
No, it can be pink or purple or whatever color you'd like it to be.
I thought there was a significance to golden.
No, it was just something. So whatever works for you is you just create a space, and it doesn't even have to be a ball. It can be a bucket. It could be a a flower. It could be whatever you want it to be. It's just somewhere where you're placing
Those
those
thoughts.
thoughts and you're setting them aside.
That's really interesting, right? Because that's for a lot of people are like, how do I stop thoughts? So you're not actually stopping thoughts, as you said, Felicia. You observe, so you see it, you acknowledge the thought, and then you say, okay, now you can put it to the side. It's almost like the analogy of watching clouds go by. And if the clouds were your thoughts, you're just watching them go by.
Yes. I like that. That's a good one.
I like it.
So oh my gosh. Okay, our time's up. And I had so much fun, just as always. It's lovely to chat with you, ladies, and it's always so helpful. Even if someone were to watch this show and has never meditated before, they got a lot of tools to even maybe spark that idea that maybe, just maybe, I could try this. So if we get one person to try it, we have done our job.
So I have in my private Facebook group, it's private, but I let everybody in. You just have to send a request. It's called Personal Growth Services Community. And pinned to the top of the group is a 10-minute meditation. It's a great place to start. I like guided meditation. So I actually played it for myself today because I had a really busy day and I needed something to calm down. And I only had about 15 minutes. I'm like, I'll do my own meditation. So Personal Growth Services Community, private Facebook group, or you can email me at Colleen, 2 L's and 2 E's, Colleen at personalgrowthservices.ca, not .com, .ca. And I'll send you the video or a link to the video.
That's awesome. I don't know if you're willing to maybe share that to the Butterfly Effect page.
Oh, sure. I'll find it and I'll share it to the group. Perfect.
That would be awesome. Okay. Well, any last words, Felicia?
Well, I was going to ask Colleen before we end to tell us what is our next episode.
Oh, July 15th. So it's always the third Thursday of the month. So July 15th, because the first falls on a Thursday. So it's very early in the month.
Perfect.
Okay, so just a reminder, this is the Butterfly Effect, which brings you love,
hope,
and compassion.
Until next time, stay blessed, everyone. Start meditating. I'm not telling. I'm just suggesting.
I would love to hear people's, especially if you're new to this, I would love to hear if you've tried it even for a few minutes, how you found it.
Oh, that's a great idea. Yes, let us know.
If you are an experienced meditator, please tell us if we have tapped into the truths of what meditation could bring to somebody's life.
Perfect. Because as always, we are always learning. We are always learning. So thank you, everyone who's joined us tonight or will be watching this show. Remember to leave us a comment with the hashtag replay so that we can see your comments. Join us next month on the 15th of July for our next episode of the Butterfly Effects. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, ladies.
Bye.
Bye.